personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care, convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. For over 20 years, we have helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. We work 100% for the 99%. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. And yes, we speak Spanish.
Millennium TV 24. You're watching the Good Look in News. And yes, it's me, Kim Seabrook. And as always, you know what I like to do. I like to start off with what's going on right here in our city, New York City, that is. So let's see what's going on. New York City, a network helps local Black-owned businesses survive. As businesses struggle to survive during the pandemic, a survey showed that Black-owned businesses were twice as likely than their white counterparts to close for good, leading a coalition of business institutions to provide much needed support. With financial commitments from Bank of America and IBM, United Way of New York City launched the Together We Thrive, which is a Black business network, a broad collection of government, non-for-profit, and corporate partners to support Black-owned businesses in New York City. So Black-owned businesses only receive 2% of Federal Paycheck Protection Program, that's the PPP, loans to help businesses offset payroll costs and other operational expenses, compared to 83% for white businesses. From February of 2020 to April 2020, the number of active Black business owners nationally dropped by 41%. That is a lot, compared to 17% for white business owners. And by June of 2020, the number of active Black business owners was still down by 19%, despite some initial rebounds. One of the businesses that coalition helped was Gourmet Diva, Inc. of the South Bronx. Gourmet Diva is a multifaceted cooking company which is ran by Chef Keisha Ogaldez. She offers educational services, online cooking classes, virtual events, and much more. And according to Ogaldez, the first few months of the pandemic felt like the recession in 2008 when she was laid off from her career in the nonprofit tech industry. But she quickly got used to the virtual setting and created a studio in her kitchen where she does show twice a week. This helped her connect with other chefs, meet new clients, and garner the attention of TWT. So the program set her up with Facebook's summer intern program, in which young people studying digital marketing work with small businesses to gain experience. Ogaldez's intern helped with Gourmet Diva's social media marketing efforts, and additionally, the coalition gave her a business mentor from the PACE Small Business Development Center, which provides technical assistance to help businesses reopening and culturally relevant peer-to-peer mentorship to help address specific business challenges. That's what we like to hear. And you have to move on with the changes. If something is going to stop your way, you got to figure out how to keep going, right? So that's what a lot of businesses have done this year during the pandemic. So let's move on. And still in the Bronx, Bronx Charter School launches school year with 8th annual Male Hero Walk public prep. One of the only public charter school networks offering single-sex education is launching the new school year and welcoming students back to the classrooms with an annual tradition, a Male Heroes Walk on their first week at Boys Prep Bronx. This event began 8 years ago as a way for scholars to interact with their heroes, whether they are family members, professionals, or school staff, and give high fives on their way to the class as they kick off the school year. This year's celebration included more than 30 male heroes, professionals from all walks of life. We're talking about community leaders, fathers, and much more, greeting more than 850 kindergarten through 8th grade scholars, offering encouraging words and inspiration as they begin the new school year. Again, another great story to start off this segment. And let's see what else is going on. Mbiagi calls on state and city immediately reduce jail population at Rikers State. Now this is Rikers Island, excuse me. This is something serious and definitely needs to be addressed. State Senator Alessandra Biaggi, she represents Rikers Island, is calling on Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio to work in tandem with the New York City and State Departments of Corrections to address the ongoing humanitarian crisis on Rikers Island and to immediately implement policies in order to reduce the number of individuals being held on Rikers Island. Biaggi is requesting the following measures be taken. One is that Governor Kathy Hochul immediately sign the Less is More Act and direct acting NYC DOC Commissioner Anthony J. Annucci to use his discretion to release individuals being incarcerated for technical parole violations. Two, Mayor Bill de Blasio and the Commissioner of the NYC Department of Corrections permit people sentenced to less than 1 year to be released and serve the remainder of their sentence at home. Right, there are options. Let's make these options available for people who are sitting there for a long time. Let's just move on. Number 3, district attorneys and judges use their discretion to change the pretrial status of incarcerated individuals, decline prosecuting cases, avoid asking for cash bail, and refuse sending individuals to Rikers Island in any case. Thank you. Number 4, sending individuals to Rikers Island has become a death sentence. Those incarcerated, many of whom are awaiting trial or being held on technical parole violations, are forced to live in filth and deprived of regular access to food, beds, and medication. The lack of resources and staffing, paired with ongoing mismanagement at Rikers Island, has created a violent environment that continues to threaten the safety of not the individuals who are incarcerated and the staff, also the healthcare workers that are in there. The inhumane conditions have resulted in a dramatic spike in self-harm among the incarcerated, with many becoming so hopeless that choosing to end their life is deemed a better option than remaining another day on Rikers Island. This is terrible. We have failed to ensure the safety of all incarcerated people, and inaction is no longer an option. New York State and the city must work in collaboration to immediately reduce the number of incarcerated individuals on Rikers Island and ensure that no individual is forced to live in the current conditions. Whew. And next, talking about Rikers Island, and one of the exonerated 5, Yusuf Salam considers possible run for Harlem State Senate. So if you're familiar with the story, one of the Central Park 5 who was falsely accused of raping a white woman back in 1989 in New York City may be making a run for political office in New York State. According to the Daily News, Dr. Yusuf Salam, who was 15 at the time of the false accusation and arrest, is considering running for the seat of New York State Senate in Harlem, which was recently vacated by Harlem State Senator Brian Benjamin. Benjamin was appointed the new lieutenant governor by Governor Kathy Hochul after she replaced the disgraced former governor Andrew Cuomo. Associates of the 47-year-old Salam says that if he does run, he plans to focus in part on issues that align with what he went through, wrongful conviction. He reportedly also plans to focus his agenda on criminal justice and prison reform, police brutality, and eliminating juvenile solitary confinement. It's been reported that other likely candidates, including State Assembly members Al Taylor and Inez Dickens, who represent adjoining parts of the 30th Senate District, And Salam was 15 years old when he and the other 4 boys of color were forcibly imprisoned for the rape and brutal assault of, again, a white woman in New York City's Central Park, and that was in 1989. And at the time, the boys were demonized in the media. And also Donald Trump became infamously known as the Central Park Five. Well, they named them the Central Park Five. After serving time in prison, the boys were exonerated in 2002 after a convicted murder, and a serial rapist, Matias Reyes, confessed to the crime. Today, the men Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusuf Salam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise are known as the Exonerated Five. Their heart-wrenching story was originally told by documentary filmmaker Ken Burns in 2012, and their story was also adapted by filmmaker Ava DuVernay in the acclaimed Netflix 2019 series, When They See Us. Back in 2014, the 5 men had been awarded a $41 million settlement from the city. But unfortunately, it doesn't take away from everything that they had to experience. But let's move on to our last story in this segment. Apple announces a $30 million investment towards racial equity, focusing on Hispanic inclusion. Coinciding with Hispanic Heritage Month, Apple has announced a $30 million investment in racial equity, focusing on the Hispanic community. The investment will support new initiatives through Apple's Racial Equity and Justice Initiative. In this commitment, there will be a focus on advancing the education and career developing opportunities for Hispanic people. The investment will be broken into 3 parts: education, entrepreneurship, and criminal justice reform. The tech giant is partnering with California State University to launch a global Hispanic serving institution, Equity Innovation Hub, which is a career and education center. Apple will furnish the center and fund its educational programs. CSU Chancellor Joseph Castro said that CSU is excited about the opportunity with the partnership and what it presents for its students. The CSU takes great pride in providing pathways to STEM education and preparing students for careers that power the world's 5th largest economy. Castro said in the release, thanks to the bold vision from the state of California, Apple, and other legislative leaders, the global HSI Equity Innovation Hub will greatly benefit thousands of talented students in California and beyond. So to support entrepreneurs, Apple is expanding its Entrepreneur Camp to welcome its first group of Hispanic founders and developers in 2022. Students at the camp will receive instruction from Apple engineers and executives to help develop their business ideas and turn them into reality. Apple will also support criminal justice efforts by investing in organizations that do the same. Apple will donate funds to a range of nonprofit organizations, including the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, the Council of Criminal Justice, Innocent Projects, and The Last Mile, the Sentencing Project, the Vera Institute of Justice, and many others. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a quick break. We're going to be right back. I have a special guest for you in my second segment. This is Kim Seabrook. You're watching the Good Looking News on Millennium TV 24.
What does a Regis divorce, a Regis bankruptcy, and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care, convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. For over 20 years, we have helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. We work 100% for the 99%. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. And yes, we speak Spanish.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
And welcome back. You're watching the Good Looking News, and I have a special guest in this segment. I'm Kim Seabrook, and my special guest is author Manuel Ford, and I'm just waiting for them to bring him on the screen. I can't see his face. Hello, where is my guest today? All righty. Where is my guest? Manuel Ford. There you go. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud.
Awesome. Awesome. I can hear you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Nope, put your camera back on. There you go. Yes. So I know we had, there's been like we were going to do this day and this day, but everything is timing, right? Because you have something special coming up. But we'll get into that a little later. So let's start off, Manuel. You are an author for children's book series, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Give us a little insight on what the books are about.
Well, I'm the author of a children's book series called Meet the Learners, and it's a series about a family that basically help their young children overcome little adversities or just obstacles that they face as children. The first book in the series is entitled Alice Visits the Doctor, and of course, a lot of children, young children especially, have anxieties about going to the doctor, just afraid, scared of needles, so forth and so on. So this book in particular is the story about Alice, who's the main character of this particular book. And, she's afraid of the doctor her whole life. And the story is basically telling how her family helps her overcome this fear and anxiety. And eventually she overcomes and she tackles her fears.
Nice.
That's pretty much the basis and the premise of all the books. But this one in particular is about, once again, Alice visiting a doctor when she was scared prior, and eventually she has a great experience.
That's awesome. So basically all of the books are overcoming your fears, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of the books in this series will be based upon overcoming fears, based upon children overcoming the fears that they face.
Absolutely.
And it basically gives the children, it empowers the children, gives them confidence, and it gives parents tools to use it as well, to help their children overcome these particular obstacles that they'll face throughout their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Because us as parents, even though mine is 22, we could still always use guidance because we never have the right answer, all of the answers. So that is good where you could provide that assistance. Now let's go back into a little bit of history. Before you became an author, you were actually in the music business. You were a DJ for multi-platinum artists, correct?
Yeah, I was a DJ. A lot of people know me. A lot of people that do know me, in social media forums or around the music world know me. I did DJing for Joel Santana in particular, and that was family growing up. So I had an opportunity to just experience a lot with the music business, traveling, DJing all over the world. Great experience. I also wrote R&B.
Right.
R&B songs.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the music business for a long time. And,
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a lot, and it's helped me in this process as well.
Awesome.
It's helped me tremendously.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And you're lucky I won't get into the versus battle with with them in the locks, but
We can talk about anything.
yeah. No, I just want to make light. But how has that changed your life, like into writing books? Because a lot of people want to be in the music business and they want to do this and that, but sometimes people feel like no matter how much shine that they're getting, they still are missing a certain part of light in their life. So I know that you were blessed, you've done quite a few things, and you traveled and you did all of this, but still there was just that one thing that was missing. Talk about that experience and how you were able to find your piece.
Well, I've always been, not only was I a DJ, but like I said, I was an R&B songwriter as well. So I've always had the ability to write, articulate my thoughts, put them down on paper, paint pictures for people. So it's always been something that I've been good at as far as writing. I had an opportunity some years ago to work with children and get next to children. My sister had a daycare, And I hopped on board with her for a little while. And in that experience, that's when I started to, get really close with children and interact with children outside of my own children. And just with taking my musical background and doing a lot of remixes with songs, I started to realize, you can really captivate children through music. And not only that, when I would read to the children, they would be mesmerized.
Right.
And in that moment, I just felt, man, I could do the same thing. I could write these books as well. So that's when about 2015, I began to start to just dabble down some thoughts. And it just took off. At first you're never going to really understand what you're really doing, because if you haven't done it before, so you just have to start. So I just started putting thoughts on paper, and eventually it started to make more sense, and I was able to hone in and really go in the direction I wanted to, and the book started coming out.
So your books are more music inclined, like they rhyme and stuff like that for the children?
No, they don't rhyme,
Oh,
but
okay.
um, I have a jingle.
Okay.
I was able to work with a tremendous songwriter. Her name is Paris Madison, and she made the beat and she wrote a jingle for the book. So
Ah.
jingles. If people don't know what jingles are like theme songs, like Jefferson's "Well We Moving On Up."
Right,
Like you remember these
right.
songs. Not only do you can't remember the episodes, but you'll remember the song
Yeah,
for a
right.
lifetime.
Absolutely.
So having a jingle associated with the song is pretty much a jingle is Baby Shark, PJ Masks song. So when children hear the song, they automatically can identify with the book. So that's the music aspect that I'm bringing to this as well. There's a theme song for the book. So not only can the children enjoy the book, they can enjoy the song too, learn it, sing it, hop around. And it's good music. It's good music.
Good, good.
Real
I'm
good.
excited. I'm excited. So when are the books being released?
The book will be officially available for release on September 21st. However, you can pre-order books at this moment, and pre-orders are basically you order the book before it comes out, and I'll be signing each pre-order personally. So that's the little caveat with ordering the pre-order from the website,
Okay.
which I'm sure you'll give me a chance to plug that. But
Absolutely.
that's basically where you go in, and you can pre-order a book, and like I said, I'll be signing every single pre-order that I receive. I will be signing personally and thanking the people that actually support the cause, support the movement.
Indeed. So I know that still kids do read a lot of books, but I also noticed that technology is a huge influence on our kids these days. A lot of kids are just given a tablet or a phone and say, here, go over there. How do you work that with the books? How can is it the song that you're going to apply with the book? Like how, you understand what I'm saying? Like, how did you
No, I definitely,
make it
definitely.
to where the kids are going to be interested over this book versus watching something on their phone or a tablet?
Yeah, but that's the good thing. Like you said, 2021, we in this day and age where technology is key. So fortunately enough, on the 21st, the book will be available on ebook for purchase. So children can get them on tablets, phones, and the song is available on all music streaming platforms. So the same way that you get, all the music that you get today, any way you get it, there's so many different ways, right? It's available there. So the song is available on the iPad. So the same way children can go and
Awesome.
play their songs, they can go and get this song, on the iPad as well. And the book can be on the iPad also. You can go on the website and just get a preview of the song. It's a little play button on the website, and you can hear the song there. But the song is accessible. The only thing is pre-orders are only for paperback and hard copies.
Okay.
So the actual ebooks will be available on the 21st as well. So there
Awesome.
are 3 different options to actually get the actual material of the book. And once again, the song is available on all music streaming platforms. You can go get the song right
Right
now,
now?
actually.
Okay, good, good, good. We're going to get all of that
Go to
before we
Meet
wrap
the
it up.
Learners.
Meet the learners. Got it.
Meet the Learners.
Got it, got it. So what inspired you to write Meet the Learners? What was it? What was it that
What
you had?
inspired me,
Yeah.
yeah, what inspired me to write Meet the Learners was, I love the kids, man. I'm a sucker for children. Anybody that knows me, I have children. I have children of my own. They're older now, but I've always been a sucker for children. So I always feel if I'm around a child, I always feel like an obligation to help that child out, to make that child's day better, so forth and so on. So me being around children, I was just able to see the need sometimes to uplift a child's spirit. You know, child can be having a bad day, and it's so easy to do with children. It doesn't take much, to take them from not feeling so well to feeling great about something. And this was just my premise and my objective. And really, just talking to a child and giving them a couple of tools can really take them from not feeling that they can do something, or to not feeling they can do something, to feeling that they can do it continuously. So that's the objective, that's the focus, just to empower, breathe life into the children, and just give them strength to overcome and maximize their potential. And
Yeah.
also too, not only focusing on the children, but just focusing on young people, that you can write children's books. It's all right. It's cool. You can write anything. Whatever's up here, you can manifest it to the paper. It's okay. And that's part of what I want to do for not just little children, but for young people and people in general. I just want to be a source of inspiration, truthfully.
Understood, and it's appreciated. And I'm glad you said that about the kids having a bad day, because there's so many adults who always say, I don't know how you having a bad day. You're a kid, you got it easy, or you don't pay no bills. I think there's so much more that goes on in our kids' lives that we tend to understand, especially now with the pandemic, being out of school, right? Then going to school and having to wear masks, then having the social distance. You can't be next to your friends and things like that. And let's just say, even prior to that, things that do still go on at home that the parents are so blinded that they don't see, that things are actually affecting your children. So that's really important that you said that yes, the kids go through things too. So with your books, I'm hoping that can help them get through whatever issues that they're going through, any type of fear. So I like that. I appreciate that.
That's the plan.
Yes.
We're gonna get to it. Yes, ma'am.
So you also mentioned how other people can write books for kids as well. What kind of motivation can you give someone who may want to be an author, doesn't know where to start, or what to do?
My best advice is, like I said earlier, I'm not sure if everybody caught it. If you want to be an author and you're looking at a 300-page book, and you're like saying, I'm gonna do that. If you look at it in that way, you'll probably never get it done. Because how hard is it to just put a whole bunch of thoughts on the paper and just get that sounding like a good read, so forth and so on. My advice is, we can all do it. You just have to just start it. Like you just have to literally take out a piece of paper, take what's in your mind, in your head, and just put it down on a paper with a pen and paper, and just go. And then once you get the thoughts out and you start to get just an idea of what direction you want to go in, then you'll get into that direction. You don't have to worry about spelling, articulation, punctuation. There's people for that. And some people can do it all. Like me, I need help with as far as editing and so forth and so on. But that's not going to stop me from putting my thoughts on the paper and getting the ball rolling. That's the best advice. Just go. We can all do whatever's up there. Just put it down on the paper, and you'll begin to see it take a life of its own, and it'll start to clear up, and you know what direction you need to go in. But that's the first step. Just put it on the paper.
Put it on the paper, absolutely.
Put it
But
on the paper.
you asked a very important question, how difficult it is. But sometimes it's very difficult, believe it or not. Like you can get that first line and then you're like, okay, I'm stuck on the rest of this.
But life is difficult, man. So, at every phase of life, it's just everything is an obstacle. The difference is, you'll never really get past those obstacles until you tackle the problem. And
Absolutely.
That's in every phase of life. It gets a little more strenuous, a little more intricate, the higher up you go. But it's the same philosophy. There's nothing we can't do.
Absolutely.
But you have to get over that first hump. That first obstacle is key. And then once you do that, you pretty much, you get to where you're going, and it takes a life of its own.
That's
Same like
right.
everything.
That's what
So,
I wanted to hear. That's what the feedback I wanted. Exactly. That is exactly it. Because it may be difficult for that first line, but if you just keep on and keep on, just keep writing. It may not make sense now, but eventually it may make sense. Just like the what was it, the Five Heartbeats when they put the song together? Pieces took the
oh,
pieces
that's
here.
my favorite. That's one of my
That's
favorite movies too.
yes,
Top
it is.
five.
One of
My
mine
man Eddie
too.
Kane.
Don't get me
You think
started. Don't
behind,
get me
you
started.
behind.
Okay.
That's my joint.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, any obstacles that you endured during this whole process of becoming an author, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you a quick story, right? So this book series, or this book in particular, is actually me republishing, right? Meaning, I already a couple years ago, I already went in another direction with another publishing company, so forth and so on. And that I would consider that my learning process. Meaning, I had to make my mistakes. I had to, figure out what I should or shouldn't do. So when I got to this process the second time around, pretty much the same manuscript, I was a lot more knowledgeable in regards to what I'm trying to accomplish and what direction I want to go in, so forth and so on. Um, so those are the obstacles I had throughout this process. This in particular here, it's not necessarily obstacles because I've been doing it for a while. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. It's just about actually doing it. Like this is only my second interview,
Okay.
right? So, you know, just everything you get more comfortable each time around. And just you just gotta focus and stay diligent and you'll get to it. But
Indeed.
obstacles are with everything in life. So there's obstacles in this process as well. But it's just different for everyone. But like I said, you just gotta get through it, walk through each door, and you'll really make it happen. You'll see.
That's what's up. We appreciate you, Manuel Ford. Please let them know
Thank you.
again the date that your books are coming out, how they can get it, how they can pre-order it, and how they can hear the song as well.
All right, so the book will be available for release officially September 21st, but now you can pre-order a copy at www.meetthelearners.com. So that's MEETTHELEARNES.com. And you can go in there and pre-order, and all pre-orders I will be signing personally. And you can go on the site as well, and you can listen to the song. Just press the little play button, and you can hear the song, or you can just go get the song everywhere. It's literally Meet the Learners, and the song will pop up. Download the song, let the kids hear it. You want to put the kids up on the gram singing the song.
Yes, let's do
I
that.
love that.
Let's
But
do
seriously,
that.
the children are going to love the song because children love music. I've done the studies already. So
And what's the
I'm pretty
age
sure
range? I'm sorry. What's the age range for your books?
the age range is probably it's for all children, but from age I would say 6 to 10, 6 to 11. The children that can actually read are going to of those ages are going to enjoy it. But
Okay.
you can read the story to your children as an infant, right?
Got it.
They'll enjoy the story in regards to the same way all children that age enjoy reading. But with the
Understood.
music associated with it in due time, the gap will bridge, and they'll be able to identify the music with the stories and other stories coming out. So
Got you.
and I'm also on Instagram, Meet
Yes.
the Learners, and Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Manuel Ford, under my name, and YouTube, Meet the Learners. A lot of
Awesome.
things in the work. I'm in the beginning stages, but everything's on the website as well. So you can go check it out, sign up to the mailing list,
Got it.
and support the movements for the kids.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely for the kids. The kids need this. The kids need this. The children. Yes, the children. Well, thank you again, Manuel Ford. for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. We appreciate your time. We appreciate all your hard work. We look forward to seeing this book that's going to be launched on the 21st and anything else that you have coming out. So let's support him, please. This is Kim Seabrook. You're watching Millennium TV 24, a good looking news.
you.
You're very welcome. Just stay there until we go into break, please. We're going into break right now.
All right.
Sooner or later. We'll be right back on Millennium
What
TV
does a
24.
Regis divorce,
Here
a
we go.
Regis bankruptcy,
All right.
and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care, convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. For over 20 years, we have helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. We work 100% for the 99%. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. And yes, we speak Spanish.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
And welcome back. We want to thank Manuel Ford again for sitting in with us and discussing his book and his process and everything else. I am Kim Seabrook. You're watching the Good Looking News, and let's move on. Let's move on to what's going on in Texas. Could Texas abortion ban strategy be double-edged sword? The unusual legal strategy used to ban most abortion in Texas is already increasingly being employed in Republican-led states to target pornography, LGBT rights, and other hot-button cultural issues. While private residents filing lawsuits is a fixture of some arenas like environmental law, some warn that expanding it and applying it to new areas could have a boomerang effect if Democrats were to use it on issues like gun control. When Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the Department of Justice will sue over the Texas law, he said it could become a model for action in other areas by other states and with respect to other constitutional rights and protections. He worried about the damage that would be done to our society if states were allowed to implement laws and empower any private individual to infringe on another's constitutional rights. The Texas abortion law, which lawmakers in several other states want to copy, has another unusual feature that vastly expanded the number of people who can sue. Unlike the vast majority of civil law, it doesn't require people to show that they've been directly affected after the Supreme Court decided not to block the law. Just the threat of being sued meant some abortion providers in Texas have stopped offering abortions altogether, even those before the 6 weeks specified. But others point out the tactic could come back to haunt Republicans who have long sought to limit the size of court settlements in things like medical malpractice cases. So if a wide-ranging civil enforcement tactic were applied to gun control, for example, it could allow people to sue gun sellers if the weapon was used to hurt someone. That was said by Texas Attorney Michelle Simpson, who sued to block the abortion law. This law in Texas is a double-edged sword for Republicans, she said. It's potentially really dangerous for them to be pushing something like this forward with other issues that could be turned on them in a similar way. Ooh, that is a very, very deep topic on what's going on in Texas, but let's move on to vulnerable Democrats push for local priorities in budget. U.S. Representative Cindy Axne of Iowa was slow to get behind a $1 trillion infrastructure bill after the Senate passed it last month. It wasn't the price tag that tripped up the Democrat from a swing House district. It was that none of the money was targeted for a home state industry, ethanol and biodiesel. Axne set out to fix that. In the weeks since, she won assurances from congressional leaders that a separate multi-trillion-dollar budget blueprint would include money for the renewable fuels. But she's now on board. Her biofuels bargain underscores the political strategy embedded in the negotiations over massive new federal spending. And in Virginia, Representative Abigail Spanberger said she is chiefly focused on a measure to exempt her district's small-scale farmers and foresters from an increase in the estate tax, which President Joe Biden has proposed to help pay for the $3.5 trillion bill. The $1 trillion infrastructure bill, a plan for roads, bridges, public transit, and broadband internet, passed the Democratic-controlled Senate with bipartisan support just last month. The House is expected to pass the bill, but its success is tied to progress on the $3.5 trillion budget bill that includes extended child tax credits, expanded Medicare coverage, tuition-free community college, and other social and environmental programs. Pelosi has set the ambitious goal of passing it by October 1st. Axne announced on Wednesday that the draft of the House budget bill would include $1 billion to expand retail availability of ethanol and biodiesel around the country. Iowa leads the nation producing ethanol, which is a corn-based fuel additive, and biodiesel commonly made from soybeans. The amount is double what Axne sought in a bill that she had introduced in the House Agriculture Committee just this past year. But the grants are expected to increase demand for the fuels nationally, spur output in Iowa's 42 ethanol plants and biodiesel refineries, as well as boost the price of corn and soybeans for the farmers who supply them. That's according to Iowa Renewable Fuels advocates. And we'll move on to what's going on with DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. They sued New York City over pandemic fee caps. 3 of the nation's largest food delivery companies are suing New York City over a limit on fees that it puts in place during the pandemic to protect restaurants devastated by the forced closure of their dining rooms. The city has continued to extend those caps even as vaccinations allow more indoor dining, which, according to the companies, cost them millions of dollars over the summer. In the suit filed late Thursday, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats called the fee caps government's overreach. The companies say that they were instrumental in keeping restaurants afloat and food industry workers employed after investing millions of dollars in relief for those businesses. They are filing for an injunction that would prevent the city from enforcing an extension on the fee caps adopted in August. Last month, New York City Council passed a handful of bills it said would help small restaurants, like prohibiting some third-party delivery service charges and mandating that their phone numbers are listed on those delivery sites. It also pushed forward an extension on the fee caps that would not expire until at least early next year. Food delivery services Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats, among them, that experienced explosive growth during the pandemic, are increasingly clashing with local governments who say restaurants and consumers are getting hit with exorbitant fees and high costs. In the lawsuit filed late Thursday, Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats argued that New York City has continually pushed back the expiration date of the price caps and that now there's no date at all, making them permanent. They also claim that the law has cost them hundreds of millions of dollars through July. The ordinance is unconstitutional because, among other things, it interferes with freely negotiated contracts between platforms and restaurants by changing and dictating the economic terms on which a dynamic industry operates, the lawsuit states. Food delivery companies, despite soaring revenues, have delivered mixed economic results, even as they were transformed into a critical service during the pandemic. New York City always wants to make money some way, somehow. They will find a way. Let's move on. As we're talking about an increase, right? Grocery prices are rising. Expect these 5 foods to cost more this summer. A significant side effect of the coronavirus pandemic is the current inflation consumers are experiencing. So according to some sources, consumers saw price hikes for the 3rd straight month in June, jumping 5.4% year over year as demand outweighs supply. From the price of gas to the grocery store, there's no way around the fact that as the world reopens, we'll be paying more to get our usual goods, including that morning cup of joe. Jason L. Lusk, a distinguished professor and head of the Department of Agriculture Economics at Purdue University, told sources that one of the biggest reasons for the increase in grocery prices is that Americans are eating out again. Food prices across the board, at home and away from home, are up to 2.4% in June of 2021 relative to June of 2020. Most of the increase this summer is a result of increasing prices of food that has been eating at restaurants. Compared to last summer, prices of food eaten away from home are up 4.2%, substantially higher than the typical rates of annual increases. Luck said that the beef and chicken prices are not much different this summer from where they were last summer, but that it should be noted that the prices, especially for beef, were unusually high last summer. So one way to think about it is that the beef was expensive last summer and is still expensive this summer. Really? Okay. It's a big expense that hits hard, especially during grilling season. Pork prices have been rising and about 3% higher this summer than they were last summer. But I know that I personally went to go buy chicken wings for my son at the supermarket, and they were about $15 for a small pack. So yeah, I think there is a difference in price from last year to this year. But let's move on. We're going to end this with some more tips. I'm kind of liking doing this at the end of the segment just to help people's day get a little bit better, right? So ways to quiet your mind and for it to stop spinning. So do you ever get lost in your thoughts? I know I have, right? But what you do, you're going to go and just get your mind away from it all. So do you try and focus on something else, but only to find your mind wandering to the next thing or the last thing? I'm sure it happens. Does your brain move so fast that you find yourself holding your breath sometimes and not knowing what else to do? Do you wish that you could just be quiet for some of your thoughts so that you can think more clearly? You know what? It's estimated that we have somewhere between 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Can you imagine that? Sadly, most of them are a repeat of previous thoughts, and the majority are sadly negative. So your brain can't run at warp speed 24/7. It needs a break. You need a break. Studies have shown that high stress levels and perceived stress levels are associated with poor health. Yes. Taking time to quiet your mind can lead to more peace and productivity, not to mention that it can also boost your creativity. So let's start your day on the right foot. Let's start it on the right foot, or your eyes even open before your phone is in your hand and you're reacting to people's requests and demands. That is a huge, huge thing for people who are in business and have to use their phone for that reason. So taking a few moments to be mindful and set the tone for the day can be really helpful first thing in the morning. Getting clear on your objectives can help you stay on track. You know why? So that you can accomplish what you want instead of only reacting to what others want. Super, super important. Breathe. When you're anxious and you're stressed out, your heart rate and your body temperature can rise. So taking long, slow, deep breaths can help physically relax you and decrease some of the physical sensations that are happening in your body. Number 3, relax your muscles. Relax. If you feel a lot of physical tension in your body, you ever feel that in your jaw, right? Then doing a body scan can be helpful. Simply draw attention to different parts of your body. If your hands are tense, make a tight fist and then release it. Keep doing that a few times until they feel relaxed. Then you can do this with all parts of your body, starting from your head and ending at your toes. It can be nice to practice this while lying in bed before you go to sleep. Ideally, by the time you get your feet, you'll be asleep or at least very much relaxed. That is so true. Be present when you're in the moment. Your mind is right there with you. It's not reliving your stories from the past or predicting worst case scenarios in the future. It's in the present. So a great way to be present is to simply look around you, see what you see, smell any scents, hear the sounds, and just take it in. Number 5 is practice gratitude. Start looking for and noticing all that you have been grateful for in your life, and you'll start seeing more and more of it around you. Like attracts like. So be sure to focus on the good in your life instead of ruminating on the bad. Focus on the good will help quiet the negative thoughts and allow you to see much more of the positive. Exercise, eat right, avoid conflict, identify your triggers, get creative. And you know what else you can do? Go get into nature, sit by the water, hear the birds. No matter where you live, there's always a place to do it. I promise you. I am Kim Seabrook. You're watching the Good Looking News, and I hope that you had a great day watching on Millennium TV 24. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to download the app on your iPhone, your Android, your smart TVs. Watch us on Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon TV. Just watch us. We thank you for supporting us. And like I said, we will continue to support you in everything you do. Again, I'm Kim Seabrook. You've been watching the Good Look News, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.